How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Center. Sorry we're a little bit late on this muddy Monday because of a lot of late scratches trying to get recalibrated. Terry is incapable. His camera doesn't want to show him today. Maybe in the settings, Terry, look down there and see if you have the right camera set up in settings. So there's a settings button at the very bottom, and you'll see where it says camera. And then camera, you have a drop-down menu. Check that out and see if that works. If not, we'll just go like this, brother. What do you say? Are you with me? Well, he's on mute. Let me mute Terry. So we'll see when he comes back up. All right. Well, anyway, here we go. Race number 1 at Parx is what we're going to do right now. We're a little bit behind, so forgive me. 6.5 furlongs, claiming 15,000 for fillies and mares, which have not won a race since March the 26th. At that distance and surface, folks, we'll go through this really quick. You're going to find that the profile of a winner tends to favor horses that have early speed. 34% of the time they go wire to wire. There is an inside 3 bias. 4 through 7 gets discounted. 8 and out. It's close to fair. Today, the track is sloppy. They're off the turf. So keep that in mind as the day goes on and you're looking at your picks to keep an eye on how the track bias does indeed play out. We do like to look at some early speed, and we like to look at our simulation odds as well, 1,000 simulations to see what fair odds might look like. And Tiffany does look like it gets a little bit of an overlay at 3-1 morning line odds. Miss Malevolence, the 5 horse, looks like a little bit of an overlay as well there, maybe 6-1 morning line. Maybe the Goddess of Snakes paying a little too much for that one, perhaps. As far as the early speed is concerned, it does look like Pontiffany is the one that's likely to get on the front, based again on 1,000 simulations using early pace numbers. Season, which factors how likely a horse is to get a race that mirrors its winning races in the past. You'll see the higher the score, the better. It sure looks like Baby Fade and the Goddess of Snakes should get a race pace that suits them. Our way to the winner's circle worksheet, we do find a race where maybe the front runners might have a little bit of advantage. You see the 6 and the 7 are low knees. They're the type of horses that want to be on the lead. The 4 is a pressure horse, probably sit behind one of those two that takes the lead. Everybody else kind of wants to be a little bit of versatility, but probably middle back. Recency bias says the early speed does belong to and favor Pontiffany. The 4 horse, the pressure, doesn't necessarily need to be there. The 2 horse, Baby Fade, a little bit of a left arrow horse, perhaps. God Still Loves Me. Let's hope that's the case for everybody. That one should be on the pace as well. As far as late speed is concerned, if I remember the last time they had a little bit of wetness at Parx, late speed did do pretty well. Frame This, the lone closer, got a shot. Total pace numbers belongs to 5, Miss Malevolence, Pontiffany, and God Still Loves Me. That trio is on top. Terry, are you with us now?
Yeah, but I still can't get the camera to work. So
all right. Well, your voice is good enough. Tell us what you like in race number 1.
All right, let me go to race number 1 here. Get there. I like the number 5, Miss Malevolent. Now, whatever. She has won 2 races in a row and now goes for a hat trick and switches to high percentage winning trainer. Number 1, Frame This is my second choice. Finished second versus similar in her last race. Has a high percentage winning trainer. And the row post is winning a 19% clip. Mm-hmm. Number 7, the Goddess of Snakes. Switches to a high percentage jockey. Has a high speed favorite at today's distance. And her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. The 2, Baby Fade, is my long shot. Ran second versus similar in the last race. Has a jockey combination with the trailer. That in the last 14 days has been in the money 6 out of 7 times, went in 2 seconds, 2/3. I'm going to play 50-cent pick 5, use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 with the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, single the 3 in the third, single the 3 in the fourth, and single the 4 in the 5th.
Well, they're about to get.
No, I'm sorry.
I like the 4, 7, 3, 2. I'm going to do. There you see my trifecta, and they're off. And Pontiffany, sorry for the little bit of weird start that we had today because of all those late scratches. But Pontiffany is close to the front with God Still Loves Me. Those 2 out to the front. The speed simulation said that they would likely be on the lead. The 6 horse at 18-1. God Still Loves Me. 4 horse on the inside, closing in on that. Pontiffany now. Those 2 are duking it out. They went through the opening quarter in 22-1 for 6.5 furlongs on the slop. I don't know how fast that's going to prove to be. Might favor the closers a little bit. The 6 horse is now being challenged by the 2 horse. Baby Fade, as the 4 horse looks like it's fallen off a little bit. Baby Fade is now taking the lead. You have on the outside the 3 horse in there, Confirmed Genius. That one looks like it's going to rally up on the outside there. Although the 4 is looking to make a move down on the rail. So it looks to me like right now everybody's going to try to chase down this 2, but the 2 is looking for horses, running kind of sideways. You have the horses all bunching up in here. It looks like to me you're going to get the 3 horse as your winner, and then the 2 horse is going to finish second. The question is who's going to get that 3rd spot. 3, 2. I think the 1 is going to run by the 4 at the end here and screw up my trifecta. Maybe not. 3, 2, 4. 3, 2, and 4 is the opening order in race number 1. I got my try. Terry, you're still alive in your pick 5. That 3 horse, 4-1 morning line, Confirmed Genius, with Paco Lopez winning yet another race at Parx. Interesting to note that minus the 3 horse, well, all those horses were forwardly placed, so maybe early pace might hold on there. That 1 did make a strong charge at the end as a closer. So we'll see if indeed early speed is the way in slop today. I think you're going to find that the closers do a little bit better than you might suspect, even though it's on the sloppy track today. All right, Terry, now we've kind of caught up a little bit there. Hello, Buy Stocks. How are you today? Well, the 1 horse flies through the mud. Yeah, he did come pretty strong there, Ricardo. Let's see if I wouldn't be surprised to see some late pace hold on today. All right, race number 2. Now we can get back into our normal schedule, Mr. Terry. This time they're going to go 6 furlongs in that sloppy track. 6 furlongs in the sloppy track. That's going to well, I don't know about slop, but overall, the 6 furlongs tends to favor tactical speed. So horses probably running 2nd or 3rd, although 37% of the horses go wire to wire. Post positions are pretty fair, 1 through 7, a little bit of bonus in 8 and out. Terry, our simulations in race number 2, we see Peach B with Q. That one had all the early speed. Now everybody else has some chance. So it's wide open, I think, to see who takes charge when the gates open. Have we lost Terry altogether? Let's see. Terry's muted. Terry,
there we go. Most of them have speed. It looks like the 8 and the 1 has the best speed. The 2 and the 4 have the most, the best overlays. The 2 is supposed to be just over, like 7 to 5 or so. He's listed 4-1 in the morning line. And the 4 is listed at about 8 to 5, and he's listed in the morning line at 92. Most of these have pretty darn good C-zones, except for that 8 horse.
Yeah, it looks like the entire field should be really comfortable with where they are. See if the race shape tells that same story as the C-zone. Well, first thing I noticed when I look at this race shape, 2 things I noticed. First up, you got a lot of early speed. All but the 4 want to be forwardly placed. You also have the 8 horse in here, Lady Sicaria, as the lone EP type. So you could sit maybe behind the 2, the 5, and the 6 in front of the 1 and 7. See if those guys burn themselves out and then decide to make its move. As far as the early pace is concerned, my 3 Butterflies has a pretty significant advantage over everybody else in there. It has an 8-point advantage. So I think you're going to see that 6 horse probably take the lead, Terry, especially with the scratches now. In the end, when they're running for the wire, total discretion, and take it to the max, the lone closer in there, those 2 should be charging pretty hard. Although looks like the 4 horse might have a little bit of advantage over the 2, especially since the 2 horse wants to be on the lead. If it doesn't get the lead, might not participate at all. As far as total pace concerned, the 2, the 4, and the 8, they grade out as the best. Although minus the 1 horse Wicked Lady, everybody's within 6 points of each other. This shape tells me that the race is wide open. Terry, what do your picks tell you?
Yeah, I agree with you. It is wide open, but I like the 4 Take It to the Max as my top pick. She finished in the money in 3 of her 4 career races, and she won one of those and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Cocoa Puff, the 5 is my second pick, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer. Total Discretion, the 2 horse, is my 3rd pick, drops class today and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Wicked Lady is the long shot, number 1, finished 3rd in her last race, which is the high percentage winning jockey, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4 with the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. And then I'm going to use the 1, 3, 6 in the 3rd, the single the 3 in the 4th, and single the 2 in the 5th.
And then as far as I am concerned in race number 2, I am going to start off with the 4. Take it to the max. Sounds like a good plan. It's a lone closer versus a field that wants to be mid or forward. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it take advantage of that. Maybe a little bit closer than the 1 was in that opener and be able to run on by at the end. Number 8, Lady Sicaria won her last with ease. Similar fractions at 7 furlongs as 6 furlongs. I usually like that combination. My 3 Butterflies has plenty of early speed, that 6 horse, and does drop in class here. And finally, Total Discretion stumbled at the start versus this level last out. The cleaner trip might be more than enough to score the W here. Again, I'm going to go with a trifecta, 4-6-8 with the 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 with the 4, 6, 8. Let's clean up race number 1 a little bit, Terry. The 3, 2, 4, 3, 2 exacta for $2 paid $22.20. That ain't bad. The 3, 2, 4 trifecta for 50 cents paid $31.90. And if you played the 3, 2, 4, 1 superfecta for a dime, it paid $18.67. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Nope. That sounds pretty good.
There you are, Terry.
I came in. What happened?
I don't know.
I didn't do anything.
Well, who knows? I heard you beep in there, so I wasn't sure if that was my computer messing with me or yours. So Abtruse Man says race 2 sets up perfectly for the 2. So he's going 2 wild. If like Abtruse Man, you got some picks in here that you like, let us know in there as well. Does look like Ricciardo de Larango also has some ideas in here too. Race number 2, he's all over the 7 horse. Angel of the Galaxy. Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy, Terry, that last one?
I did. It was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked the last part of the movie better than the first part. First part kind of bored me a little bit, but the last part was really good.
The part where they were going through Rocket's beginning of his life bored you a little?
Yeah.
You're not a big fan of the raccoon. I'm not a raccoon. All right, anyway, race number 3 is what we'll do next. In the 3rd spot in this 10 race card at Philadelphia today in the slop, they're going to go 6.5 furlongs, optional claiming 16 grand. Purse is 28 grand. We use Brisnet. I'd like to show this pointed out because we don't there are always new people following us. If the horse was in for a claim, you would see that number right here where I highlighted it. It's not in for a claim in the case of the 1 horse. Let's see if anybody is in for a claim in here. Yes, indeed. You see All Hail Mo. So if you wanted to buy All Hail Mo, you could for $16,000. Chump change for Terry for sure. 6.5 furlongs, as we saw, I think in the opener, right, with 6.5 furlongs. Indeed, early speed does do well. 34% of the time they go wire to wire. We saw most of the horses that performed well in race number 1 close to the front. 1 horse did make it close for 3rd at the end on the big rush. Inside 3, post positions get a bias. 4 through 7, a little bit of a discount. 8 and out, that group of horses will play close to fair, although 8 and out doesn't come into play today in race number 3 because of a bunch of scratches, Terry. Well, no scratches today. What do you see from early speed here? Reed's Fangirl going to get to the front.
Yeah, that 5 should get that quarter pull first. The only one that might have something to say about that's the 3 and maybe the 6. The 4 has an overlay of supposed to be even money, and it's listed at 7-2 on the morning line. The 5 is listed at 7-2, supposed to, and he's listed 5-1 on the morning line. All but the 3 and 6 have pretty decent seasonal numbers.
And our way to the winner's circle worksheet for race number 3 is pretty interesting. We have everybody here wants to be a closer except for Reed's Fangirl. Reed's Fangirl doesn't need the lead, but should be a part of the early pace nonetheless, especially when we look at the recency numbers for early speed. We see that Broadway Charlie Rose does have the most early speed, a little bit. So a little bit of a left arrow horse. A lot of times you see these horses that are usually closers that move forward. They gain some courage the longer they're up front, and we know that they have the stamina to close it out. And that's not asking the horse to do any more than it usually does when the gates open. Late Speed belongs to the 4 horse, All Hail Mo, 5 points better than Luna T. And that group is considerably better than the rest. Those two shouldn't be off the pace by very much, according to the way this pace sheet looks. They might be able to use those late legs to their advantage. All Hail Mo, Broadway Charlie Rose, Luna T checking in, along with Reed's Fangirl as the top 4. A little bit of a gap to Run in Redbird in Divinary. Terry, I think the first 4 is probably where the winner will be found. What do you think?
Well, I like the number 3 horse, Running Redbird, so I agree with you. She ran second in her last race, has the highest last speed rating, and her best third speed is fastest among today's starters. And then I like the number 6, Broadway Charlie Rose. It's my second choice. She drops in class today. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She's actually tied with number 3, Running Redbird. And then number 1, Luna T. Likes the track, finishing in the money 50% of the starts, winning 17% of those, and likes the distance, finished in the money in 100% of the starts. The 5, Reed's Fangirl. She ran third versus similar in her last race and has a trainer in the last 14 days, has a record of 8 starts, 3 wins, a second and 2/3. My long shot. I'm going to play $5 to win on the 3.
I'm going to go in this race with the 6 horse in here. Broadway Charlie Rose making its third start after a layoff. The only other third up after a layoff was the best of the 3. Reed's Fangirl is the lone P horse, as we saw, versus a bunch of closers. Should get a pretty comfortable trip, I feel like. It gets a decent C-zone score, not quite as good as the 1 or the 2. But the horse has fared well at the distance, 5 times out, 2 seconds and 3/3. Running Redbird, top last race speed figure in her first try at Parx. Does have a decent workout sense. I think I downgraded a little bit because it didn't run that well on the slop yet or the off track. Number 4, All Hail Mo, top total pace horse in here. Last race was a little better than it looked with faster fractions and final time. I'm going to try again, 3, 5, 6 with the 5, 6 with the 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Shaking it up a little bit there. We do have some thoughts in here. Scary Creations in race number 3. Says the number 1, the Paco horse, doesn't seem good enough, but it is Paco. Yeah, that's true. Does get that strong C-zone score in there, too. Richardo chiming in about the muddy conditions I'm looking at. The 8 listed favorite early. Which race is that for? Is that in race number 2 with the 8 horse? Yeah, Lady Sakara, that one. Is that the one you're looking at there? Richardo, let us know. JT Brew, unfortunately, they're off the turf today over there, my friend. Parx, race 8, win place. Number 4, Hey Mama Duke. Race 9, win place to 3, A Western Yarn. $5 double, 2-4 with 3 and 10. That's, yeah, I looked at a lot of those horses too in there. I was looking at those muddy records in there. Terry, you ready to move on to race number 4?
Let's do it.
All right. Race number 4 at Parx today. They're going to travel 1 mile and 16th around the course. It looks like 2 full turns. They're going to run down past the finish line twice, Mr. Terry. And when they pass the finish line twice at 1 mile and 16th, tactical speed is what tends to fare the best. 30 out of 100 go wire to wire. We do see a recognizable inside 3 bias. 4 through 7 play a little under par. 8 and out's a big bonus again with, I think, scratches in this one. We're not going to see any horses make it out to post number 8. Well, there was only 6 horses to begin with, so now there's only 5. And one quick note about 5-horse races. If you're playing a contest, I remember Stephen Fiedler said that the experienced horse players take the longest shot on the board, which would be the 2-horse, Strum and Pluck. Don't be shocked if you're in a contest today and you see a bunch of people taking that 2-horse, and that would be the reason why. But Terry, if you're going to take speed, the reason why you might want to take the 3 is pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's got lots and lots of speed, really fast. And then the 3 also has the best overlay. It's supposed to be, under like, what is that, 3 to 5 or something like that. And it listed it at like 6 to 5 on the morning line. And then as far as the C-zones, all of them but the 3 and 4 have good C-zones.
As far as the race shape is concerned in race number 4, it's pretty much spread out here. 1 horse in here, Strum and Pluck. This one shows an NC, meaning it has not in its races of recent races been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. So maybe Strum and Pluck could get the X through it. Not too sure about that. 6 horse looks like a lone E up here. The question is, can he get the lead, Marco Island? And if you look at the early speed, it does look like he'll have a little bit of competition of Paradise Pride. Though you wonder if Paradise Pride is a horse that prefers to pressure than be on the lead, won't allow Marco Island to get to the front. Pretty big gap between them and the next. As far as the late pace is concerned, Load Up Mo. Look at that, Terry. That one has a 17-point late pace advantage. And, in a 5-horse field, probably not going to be all that far off the lead.
Right. It looks pretty good.
Total pace, that score belongs to the 3-horse. Paradise Pride. The question is, can that one get out to the front and hold off Load Up More as they come flying down the stretch? Those two have about a 10-point advantage over everybody else, so they could be difficult to contend with in that respect. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see the 3 or the 4 score, Terry. You think it's going to be the 3?
That's right. I like that 3. Paradise Pride ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and has a high percentage winning trainer, Jamie Ness, and winning jockey, Ruben Silveira. Number 5, Scoop Dog drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey as well. Number 6, Marco Island is my third choice, finished third versus similar in his last race. He has the best dirt speed among today's starters. This trainer jockey combination has won 2 out of 2 starts in the last 14 days. And then my long shot would be Load Up Mo. He should improve while returning to a route and has a high percentage winning trainer. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the single the 3 in the 4th and then single the 2 in the 5th. Go with the 3, 4, 7.
I think you're singling the 4, Terry.
I'm sorry. You're right. I didn't change that there.
Well, you did change it.
Yeah. I didn't change it on my sheet here, though.
All right.
And then those late scratches really get to me. Anyway, in the 6th, 3, 4, 7. And then the 7th.
I think 1, 4, 6 is what you have because the scratches got you. Yeah. And then you have the 5, 8 in the back end.
That's
$3,
correct.
5 to win
5,
on
8.
the 3, and then $1 double.
Yeah.
I don't think you want the 2 in there. Do you still want this double? Because
I know I have 5. I have a double in the 4th race.
you said $1 daily double 3, and then you had the 2 and the 8.
Yeah. No, you can take the double out.
We take the
I'm
double
playing
out of
$5 win on the 2.
There's no 2 in the race. You mean the 3?
Yeah.
I think you mean the 3. All right. Anyway, let's just go ahead with that. $5 to win on the 3. All right. For me in this race, I'm going to, and just before we go on to that, Scary Creation says he does not know how the 3 Paradise Pride loses this race. Well, I think we just figured out how he's going to lose this race by thinking that he can, right? I have found so many times at Parx, these 1 to 5 shots that are going to go off 1 to 2, they finish second with great regularity. I don't know what's going on, but it happens a lot. Christopher D'Souza, race 4, the 6-horse Exacta box. We know why. He loves that late pace number on the 4-horse. I can understand that. Race 1, like the 7 to win. Race 1? You mean race 1 or you mean race 2? Because race 1 is already in the books. All right, race number 4 for me. I don't know how Scary Creations, the 3-horse, loses either. Ness Severia upped its speed figure in the last 2. I think going longer today is going to help. Should have a pretty good early pace advantage over everybody else. I think maybe going long might be the way that the horse doesn't score. Load Up Mo, considerable 8 speed edge. That 17-point advantage. At any time you see an in-race advantage that high, it's a horse you have to include in your picks. I really don't think it's going to be all that far off. It might be behind the 2 front runners, but should be mixed in with the other horses in this 5-horse field. Marco Island was a tough call over the 5 for me, but shown better on a wet track and should be more forwardly placed. And then finally, Scoop Dog. It is the top C-zone horse in the race, drops in class. I'm a little bit worried, though, looking at the races, it might be a bit tired and need to head to the sidelines because we're seeing some regression, both in terms of its final speed number and in terms of its race internals. That always gets me. At Chris Watts. I'm not sure what that means, but all right. You want to fill us in on that? It's a friend of yours. Race number 5 is the next race on this card. In race number 5, Terry, they're going to travel 6 furlongs again, claiming 7,500 non-winners of 3 lifetime. The purse is 32 grand. 6 furlongs favors tactical speed. 37% go wire to wire. Post positions 1 through 7 play fair, 8 and out. Again, a little bit of a bonus. I think in race number 5, we're going to concern ourselves with 8 and out because, well, yes, we're going to get, no, we're only 7 horses in this field. So 8 and out doesn't matter, Terry. Some of the early speed scratched, but pretty much anybody looks like, with the exception of the 5 and the 7, can be on the lead.
Yeah, you're right. Several of them have speed. The 8 and the 1 show the most speed. And anyway, the 8 is a small overlay. It's supposed to be 4-1 simulated odds. It's listed at 5-1 on morning line. The 7, 9, and 2 have the best C-zone numbers. So
rolling and controlling, a little bit of a rhyme there. See if rolling and controlling can roll and control the mud, which he has done so far. In the 5th race, pretty flat out here. Everybody should get the sort of trip that they want. 7 horse, Bella Maria. Looks like it's a lone E. The question is, can it get to the front? If it doesn't get to the front, those lone E types can get very discouraged. And looks like right now, Fall Campaign is the one that will likely get to the front. Charles might be right behind in Nana's Bupa. Crazy Serena. I have not met one that's not crazy. And then finally on the late home, Crazy Serena does have the most late speed, 9 points better than everybody else. Total pace really favoring Crazy Serena in here, 8 points better than Nana's Bupa. Fall Campaign, and then a big fall off. So I think maybe the 8's probably the favorite to win this race. Maybe gets upset by the 2 or the 1 according to total pace, Terry. According to your handicapping, who's going to win?
Well, this race really changed for me because there were so many scratches. So I originally liked the 3 really well, but I've changed to the 2, Nana's Bupa. She ran
Charles.
Second. Yeah, Charles. Yeah, the big Bupa. Yeah, she ran second versus similar in her last race. That jockey in the last 7 days has won 3 out of 7 starts. Crazy Serena. The number 8 drops in class today. Her best start speed is fastest than the average winning speed. And then number 9, rolling and controlling. She finished in the money 50% of her races at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning jockey. She's my 3rd pick. The long shots, Miss Alex 5, drops in class today and can improve while returning to the dirt. I don't have any bets in this race.
I think Crazy Serena is the horse to beat in this race, Terry. Crazy Serena, looking at that horse, lowest level for this one in the last 10. First race off a break, record is a little bit on the shaky side, but does have 3 good workouts, getting prepped and pretty solid in the money in terms of the wet track. Speaking of which, Miss Alex, the 5 horse in here, best numbers on an off track by a long shot over the rest of the horses in this field, and does have a pretty good record on the wet track. 9 races out, 2 wins, 3 seconds, 2/3. Charles, Nana's Bupa. Last race was better than it looks with a better final time. And then finally, the 1 horse Fall Campaign did run better fractions in its last, better pace numbers across the board. It was a tough call for me over the 9 because the 9 horse, I think, was in the money 3 out of 4 on a wet track. I do have him in the trifecta, though. I think the 8 and the 5. I'm hoping the 5 wins at a price with the really strong wet track history. 8-5 over to 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9 over to 2, 5, and 8 for my trifecta. Just a couple of minutes away from race number 2, Terry. So rather than start to prep race number 6, let's do a little bit of house cleaning.
Okay.
First up, tonight on Horse Center, I'm pretty sure I'll be on, well, maybe if the Facebook opens up, but I'll be on tonight with Julie, and most likely we'll be joined by our guest, which is going to be Harrison Young. He's the director of racing surfaces at Colonial Downs, which is set to kick off on July the 13th. So if you have any questions about setting the track up, I mean, that's a pretty interesting thing. It's something we've never talked about with anybody before. So we should get some pretty good ideas of how they set the track up. Do they actually try to make the tracks faster on big stakes days? You know, what's the strategy there? So if you have any questions for Harrison, make sure you tune in 8 p.m. tonight Eastern. And to make sure you don't miss any of that type of stuff, Terry, what should people do?
They should go to YouTube and subscribe and go ahead and hit the bell so that they get notified whenever we have a program on. Mm-hmm. We have lots of programs, not just about handicapping, but also we're interviewing trainers, jockeys, and have really good guests. Go to our social sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Horse Race, the number 2 day, and give us a likes and thumbs up. The more that we get for that way, the more we can do for you, because the better tools we have on YouTube. And let all your friends and relatives know about us.
So we got a little more comments. Richardo, my old lady likes the Muddy Parx race number 2, the 8 to win. It's got the 8-6 exacta race 2. Christopher D'Souza, big on the 6 horse. That's his pick right in there in race number 2. Let me pull up our thoughts for race number 2, Terry. Race number 2, like the 6 to win, 6-7 exacta box for Charles. Scary Creation says, looking through the rest of the card, Chalk Fest today. You know, that's what I thought too when I was going through it. But a lot of times the slop throws a wild card into there, right?
That's right.
So I do think there'll be some major upsets in there. KCH, this looks like a good betting race number 2. It does indeed look like a good betting race, because right now the favorite is the 2 horse at 2 to 1. Everybody else is looks like everybody else is 4 to 1 or higher. So if the 2 runs off the board, got a good shot to get a pretty good ticket in there. If you're also looking to bet today at Aparohe Park, I don't know if that's how they pronounce that one, but that's how I pronounce it. In the description down below, you will find a link to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Please use that. In the first race today, it looks like we like the 2 horse. El Maguito. That went at 9 to 2. And look at there's a 10 to 1 shot in there for the 3rd spot. So maybe a nice exacta ready to play out in race number 1 at Paroje Park for 330 yards. So the lottery ball races.
Yeah.
So race number 2 at Parx, there looks like they're just about all loaded up and ready to go. It looks to me like the sun's probably coming out, because I'm seeing some shadows now. So wouldn't be surprised to see if the track gets upgraded as the day goes on. I know here yesterday it was warm and humid, and then really rainy, and then really windy. So I would expect if it's sunny and windy, the dirt would dry out pretty quick.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
You would think so. So they're waiting on the 7 and the 8. And while they wait on the 7 and the 8, head on over to horseracingtoday.net. And when you're there, please hit the HRT merch page. Get yourself a hat, a T-shirt, any of the kind of stuff that you can help support the show and look great while you're at the track. Of course, we do put well, I'll go to the race, but we also have the racing silk. So you can get like the number 1, the number 2, and all that kind of stuff. Looks pretty good. All right, in race number 2, they're off, and it looks like the 1 horse Wicked Lady got off to a wicked fast start. No, that's the 6 horse, I think. Yes, the 6 horse. My 3 Butterflies up on the lead at 2 to 1. Looks like it took over some of the maybe did it take over the favorite status in there? Yeah, it did take over the favorite status. And then the 7 horse right now, Angel of the Galaxy. That one's running 4th and fading. Looks like the 8 horse now is moved in stride into 2nd. They're going pretty fast, 21 and 4 through the opening quarter. Wouldn't be at all shocked to see them run that horse down. The 1 horse now is also getting involved. I don't like the fact that the 8 horse is running wide up the track, but maybe they feel like the lane out there is the place to go, Terry. I'm not 100% sure. Right now, down the stretch they come. It looks like the 6 horse is got the lead. Jockey really hasn't asked for more out of him. The 4 horse is running pretty wild. It comes the 2 horse up the rail on a closing. It's going to go 6 and then 4 and then 2. 6, 4, and 2. 6, 4, and 2. So right there we see that speed held up pretty well, Terry. The 6 horse got to the lead, and then everybody else ran it down.
Yep, that's right. Well, I'm still looking good with my pick 5 and start of my pick 4.
Yes, you are, because you had the 6 horse in there. Now you need those singles to come through for you.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. But
yeah, well, I mean, this is speed looks like it's going to hold up if you're up on the front. But if you're not the front horse, it looks like you could struggle a little bit, according to what we saw right there. So 6, it went 6, 4, 2, and then I think 1. Yeah.
Yep.
6, 4, 2, and 1 in race number 2, which allows us now to move on. Not much going on that one, and they went not much closing on that one. They went fast. Yeah, they did close in for the 2nd place and 3rd place and stuff like that, but the horse that got to the lead stayed there. All right, in race number 6, Terry, let's see if we can find a horse that's going to get to the front of that one and not be caught. Race 6, they will travel a mile, optional claiming 50,000, non-winners of 3 lifetime. The purse is $43,000. At 1 mile, you're typically looking for a horse that has early speed. Well, what's what we've seen hold up today. This distance might be the one that favors early speed the most because 44% of the time the horses go wire to wire. It's pretty strong inside 3 bias, Terry. So in the 6th race, if you're on the inside and you have a little bit of speed, you have a shot, and it looks like there's a lot of horses that have some speed and a shot to get there. Windsor Gold, the one horse, is the one inside speed. Well, maybe the 3 too. A lot of speed, Terry. Tell us what you think will happen.
Yeah, most of them have pretty good speed. The 7 looks like it's got the most speed, but there's some of them very close to it. That 1 has a overlay. It's supposed to be just over 2-1 simulated odds, 7-2 on the morning light, and that 7 is supposed to be even money, and it's listed 2-1 on the morning line. All but the 2 and 3 have pretty decent C-zone numbers.
Mm-hmm. And then the race shape, as far as race number 6 is concerned, you see the 1, the 7, the 4, the 5. So plenty of early pace up in there, although the 4 and 5 are not lead dependent. The 3 and the 6 are pressure closer types or versatile ones, so they can kind of fit anywhere they need to go. Early speed, since that's what's holding up, according to this awfully cool, Terry, that horse is going to be on the lead, perhaps. Also has a pretty strong late pace, does have a number 1 late pace. So sometimes, as I say, if the horse has the strongest early pace, strongest late pace, could be hard to catch what you can't pass. And then finally, the total pace score goes to the 7 horse, 6-point advantage over everybody else. Then the 1 and the 4, hey, Rich's way. Hopefully that one wins today. Those 3 are a little bit better than everybody else. So maybe the winner comes from the 7, the 1, or the 4, Terry. I think it comes from the 7. The 3 didn't make that list, but makes yours.
Yeah, it does. I like PC horses. And Shilonian, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Came in from Pimlico to Parx Racing after winning his last race. And although he was disqualified in that race for interference, he has 1 win out of 1 start at Parx Racing, so he's perfect there. And the shorter distance should be a plus. Number 7, Ophelia Cool, won his last race at Parx Racing, has best start speed as fastest among today's starters, and he has high percentage winning trainer. And then for number 4, Rich's Way, Your Way, he has finished in the money in his last 3 races, winning 1, and has a high percentage winning jockey. I like the 1 as my long shot. Windsor Gold finished in the money in 7 out of 8 starts, winning 2, including his last start. Rail Post is winning 20% clip, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 5. I'm going to use the 3-4-7 with the 5-8. I'm going to single the 2 in the 8th race, and then I'm going to go with the 9-10.
Only problem is the 2 is not in the 8th race.
I'm sorry. The 8th race is the 7. I'm going with the 7 as a single. And then in the 9th race, I have the 9 and the 10. And last race, I have the 5, 6, 7. So.
All right, so let's see. Where is the 2 horse in this mix right here? So we're going to change this to the 7. And there we go. I like the 7 horse. Awfully cool. This horse has run at Parx twice and made easy work of both of them. The number 1 horse, Windsor Gold, at Parx, 8 times out. Been in the money 7 of those 8. 2 wins, 4 seconds, and a third. Has 2 at the distance today at this 1 mile and won both of them. Gets the hot inside rail. And did last time out run some better early pace numbers, although the rail looks like the horses don't necessarily want to be on the inside today. To me, it looks like they want to be in the 3 or 4 path. So maybe the 1 gets to the lead, jumps out to the 3 or 4 path, and stays there. Chelonian, the 3 horse, is a track dropper. It's also a class dropper. It's a Jamie Ness horse. Got early speed as well. And you're going to put a weight break on this horse today. And then finally, My Way, the Sinatra Way, Rich's Way. You have Paco riding this one, and last time out, the horse did manage to run some better fractions. Back to the trifectas for me, 1, 3, 7 over the 1, 3, 4, 6, 7 over the 1, the 3, and the 7, which takes us to race number 7. In race number 7, they're a 6 furlong optional claiming, $50,000, non-winners of 3 lifetime. The purse is for $57,000. So we've talked about 6 furlongs. I know this one in my sleep, Terry. It is tactical speed. The post positions 1 through 7 play fair, about 34-35% go wire to wire. 8 now gets a little bit of a bonus. Before we go on to race number 7, Ricardo Parx is running just fine. Thought the mud would change the things. Well, scratches. Yeah, I think it's I think speed is going to continue to perhaps hold up. And if the sun stays out in the wind and dries up the track a little bit, I think it would even more accentuate speed. In race number 7, Terry, our simulations, we see the 1, the 2, Willie Boy, scratched, Witty, scratched, Violent Turbulence. So it looks like if you're the back end of the alphabet, you're not running in this race, Mr. Terry.
Nope. And it looks like to me the 8's got the speed, should get to the quarter pole first. And then the 3 has a small overlay, supposed to be 5-1 simulated odds, listed at 6-1. And the 4 is supposed to be 7-1 simulated odds, is listed at 10-1. The 1, 2, 5, and 8, well, the 1, 2 are scratched, so the 5 and 8 have the best C-zone numbers.
Scary Creations coming in saying that he thinks in this race, the 7, Hollywood Jet, runs them off the feet. Right?
Yeah, not in this race. It's in the 7th race. He says the 7. Well, the 7 is scratched. So
the 7 Hollywood Witty. Yeah, Witty's out of there. Hollywood
in the 7th
race number 7. Yeah, race number 6 back to Christopher D'Souza. He likes the 4-6 exacta box for $4. And I agree with Joseph. Where are the likes, guys? We're donating our precious time. We appreciate your time for sure, Joseph. The one thing was we can't see them on we can only see them on Facebook who gave us a thumbs up, and Rick Hepner did give us a thumbs up. We appreciate that. They absolutely help us with the algorithms, both at Facebook and on YouTube. So when people search for Parx, we show up pretty high in those rankings. Let's see who ranks well when we put up our Way to the Winner's Circle worksheet. This is a race that really, when you look at it, 5-horse race, remember the Steve Fielder advice, take the longest shot in a 5-horse field, and especially if you're doing a contest. Early speed, this one looks like they're all going to get out there and really give it a go. Any one of them can get to the lead, so perhaps the late legs will be where this race is won. In dollarization, that one has the most late speed over Hopeful Treasure, a little bit of a drop-off after that. Hollywood Jet, the 8-horse, the one that has the least in late legs, but not all that far off. The total pace goes to dollarization. 5 Dreams, a very competitive race within 5 points from top to bottom. This one looks to me like, Terry, and anybody can win race, maybe an all to start like your pick 4s and stuff like that.
Yeah, could be. But I like in race 7, I like the 5, though. 5 Dreams ran second in his last race as a jockey, who in the last 7 days has got a record of 15 starts, 5 wins, 2 seconds, a third, and a bullet workout on May 19th. Number 8, Hollywood Jets, my second choice, has won 9 races out of 16 starts at Parx Racing. Likes this track. Drops in class today. Has the highest speed figure at today's distance. Best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Hopeful Treasure, the 6, my third pick, finished third in his last race and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Dollarization, the 3 is my long shot. He has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play a pick 4. I'm going to play the 5-8 with the 7, with the 9-10, with the 5-6-7.
I got to back that too out. One of those late scratches that sent us for a loop, Mr. Terry.
Yep.
Gave us a delayed start where we barely got through our thoughts for race number 1. In the 7th race, Hollywood Jet at Parx 16 times, likes to win there. 9 of the times he got the score. A little bit fades from there. Seconds and thirds, 2 apiece. At the distance, we're spending the money 100% of the time. 4 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Add them up, 8 for 8 in the money. Coming in from a non-graded stakes at Monmouth, this horse has a ton of back class. If he can run to it, this race won't be close. I agree with you on that, Scary Creations. If he runs through his back class, he will run them off their feet. 5 Dreams is a very highly consistent performer in here. Has a high floor, low ceiling, not a lot of upside, not a lot of downside to this horse. Tends to make strong mid moves and very strong record on a wet track, although I wouldn't be surprised if it's upgraded by then. Number 4, Noble Gaston. Been on a wet track twice. Guess where he finished in both of them, Terry?
Twice.
Second.
Second.
No, in the winner's circle.
All right.
Or the winner's enclosure if you're in England. Hopeful Treasure, the 6-horse. Last race was a lot better than it looks. Better times in terms of fractions at 6.5 furlongs than it produced at 6 furlongs in the prior start. I have a pick 4 as well. 5-8 over the 4-8-10, over the 4-10, over the 3, 5, 6, and 7. Hoping that we catch some prices in the back end of today's card, Terry. Hope it doesn't go all chalky like Scary Creations is concerned about. Race number 8 is what we're concerned ourselves with now, Terry. This one is supposed to be, well, it's a stakes race. It's a Power by Far stakes. It was supposed to be 5 furlongs on the turf. Guess what? It's off the turf today, Terry. It was another turf race that's going to get moved to the dirt as well. Before we do that, Christopher D'Souza, Louisiana, I like in race number 3. The 1 horse, Frost Brew, win that race. Race number 6, the 6 horse, 2B, and race number 7, 9, Arce. All of those horses to win. If, like Christopher or Scary Creations or Ricciardo or anybody else, if you have thoughts at any track today, kindly share them with us. Everybody's looking for winners, no matter the source. Isn't that right, Terry?
That's correct.
So 5 furlongs on the turf. On the dirt, we don't have those numbers. I would expect speed to hold up for these registered Philadelphia-bred fillies and mares, Terry. If speed does hold up in race number 8, looks like on the outside, Empress Diona will be the one they have to catch.
Yep, the number 10. It looks like the 4 and the 8 may have something to say about it, but the 10's probably going to go there. And then the 8 has an overlay, is supposed to be even money. It's listed at 7-2 in the morning line. The 7 and the 10 have the best C-zone numbers.
By a long shot. And this is always a concern to me. I know it shows this may be a little bit of an underlay at 6-1 morning line, and with the scratch is probably going to get bet down even more. But I consider this to be in fair range, within a point or two. But when you see this combination of a strong C-zone, in fact, second strongest C-zone, and the top early pace by a pretty decent margin, we've seen a lot of these horses get to the lead. They're comfortable on the lead, and then they stay on the lead all the way to the finish line. Let's see if indeed the race shape also favors the 10 in that respect. Well, looking at this, the 3, the 4, the 8, and the 10 get to the lead, or your goose could be cooked if you're not the front runner in here. Based upon more recent numbers, Midnight in Alaska, 101, that is a high level early pace score for sure. Mm-hmm. Minus the 7 Tap and Jose, which is the lone PC type in here, and the lone P. Those two could be dangerous running by themselves behind this wall of speed, especially if they go too fast. The one with the most late speed would be the most beneficial of that, and that is that lone PC horse in there. And he won't be that far off the pace. I know it gets red, but if you look 92, 94, aside from the 8 and the 10, should be in the mix. And then the early pace, late pace, total pace combination does go to Midnight in Alaska. Again, a pretty competitive race, except for maybe the P horse in here, Castilleja. This could be another competitive race in here, Terry, where a multitude of horses could win. Who do you like?
I like number 7, Tappin' Josie. She ran second in the dirt in her last race as the favorite, but a trainer wins 23% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back to race again. And I like this horse well enough that it's my pick of the day. Ooh. So number 8, Midnight Alaska, is my second pick, run her last race and has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Hidden Catch is my third pick. Number 3 can improve in the second start off of layoff. And then the 9 is my long shot, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. I'm going to bet $2 daily double. I'm going to key the 7 with the 3, 4, 9, 10. And I'm going to bet 20 to win on the 7.
All right, here we go. For me in this race, by the way, I will be joining Julie tonight at 8 o'clock. I just got the approval to join in race number 8. I'm going to start with the 8. 8's wild, baby. Crazy 8s. Did you ever play that game, Terry?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Midnight in Alaska. Well, it depends on if it's summer or winter, if it's going to be sunny and bright, or if it's going to be dark and cold. This one, anyway, last 3 races, it won all in blowouts. This one is going to get to the front and try to go wire to wire. It could get some trouble from Empress Diona, that 10 horse. Won its only start on the slop. And last time out, for a horse that has some early speed, I do like the fact that it showed more late pace last time, an indication that its endurance is on the upswing. Number 4, Hey Mama Luke. This one likes to slop. Terry, 8 times out, 3 wins, 2 seconds, no thirds, and has by far the highest slop numbers for this field. And then finally, your number 7 is my number 4, a Tappin' Josie, third after a layoff, and is always very competitive at the end of a race. Trifecta for me, 4-8-10. The 4-8-10, those speed horses up in the front, and the one that does like to run on the slop, but the 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 2 races to go. And then we'll be done with the Monday show, where we got thrown for a loop thanks to some scratches about 10 minutes before post. Thank you for that, Philadelphia. We appreciate the challenge of being prepared to go on time. This one was supposed to be a mile and a 16th on the turf for the Crowd Pleaser Stakes, the 100 grand race. It's not going to be on the turf. It will be on the dirt. Again, for the mile and a 16th on the dirt, Tactical Speed does well. 30% of the time they go wire to wire. There is an inside 3 bias. 4 through 7, they get dinged. 8 and outs, you get a pretty good bonus to ride outside there, Terry. There will be only, with all these scratches in here, there's not going to get that far out there, Terry. But
that's right. But
I don't think that's going to impact 90% Maddie's chances to get to the lead.
No, the 10's going to get to the lead, I'm pretty sure, unless he stumbles or something happens coming out of that gate. The 10 also has the best overlay. It's supposed to be, just, like 3 to 5, something like that. 7 to 8 odds, and it's listed at 3 to 1. And then the 7 and the 10 have the best C-zone numbers.
And here we see this combination again. Strong chance to get to the lead, very comfortable on the lead, and an overlay. We've seen this combination come home winner many, many, many times. And it's one of the reasons why we put all of this exclusive data together. Here's the interesting thing about Maddie, 90% Maddie, doesn't need to lead as a PC, a versatile type. With everybody else that wants to be middle forward, even though it does have the most early speed in here, I mean, based upon the way the track is running today, I think it probably would want to go to the front. But wouldn't be surprised at all to see it sit second and try to reserve a little bit of energy for the end and let Rabbit actually be the Rabbit, because the other 3 will be well behind. And then it does have the most late speed, almost tied with Time to Cruise. Again, a pretty big advantage over the rest. I think we're going to find that the total pace score heavily favors 90% Maddie, an 8-point score over Time to Cruise, and then a really big gap down to Rabbit. I think the winner here, Terry, 90% Maddie, should have its way, at least 90% chance it'll have its way.
I agree with you there. The number 10 is my pick. First choice. He is finished in the money in 7 out of 9 career starts, and he won 4 of those. Has a high percentage winning trainer, switches to high percentage winning jockey. Time to Cruise, the 9, has the high percentage winning trainer Jamie Ness and high percentage winning jockey Ruben Silveira. Number 3 is my third pick, a Western Yarn. He's trying Parx for the first time. And then the 4 winning on weekends, won his last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to box the trifecta for 50 cents, the 3, 9, 10.
All right, so let's change this one around here. 3, 9, and 10. We'll take that 6 out of there just to make sure it reflects these late scratches again. That really made our lives a little more difficult than we wanted to on this Muddy Monday. 90% Maddie won last race, the last time it run at Parx with Paco on board by 9 3/4 lengths. I think this one really going to benefit with whatever other speed was in this race pretty much on the sidelines. Number 4, winning on the weekends. Last time out, this guy won by 17 lengths. It's a big margin right there. And I've been my experience when you see a horse run a big race, typically follows it up with another one. Concern there is there was a major speed number spike for me, but the 2 workout stints have been pretty good, especially that last one. The last one was pretty fast, 4 furlongs and 47 3. And the horse has also got a W on and off track. Number 9, Time to Cruise, Jamie Ness, Ruben Silveira. Tough combination to overlook, especially for a horse that won his only trip on an off track. Did show some high caliber late pace in his last 2 races, triple digits. So it won't be that far off the lead as we saw in the pace. Maybe scramble up there for second, outside shot to get by the 10 at the end. Finally, number 1, Rabbit, could benefit from the rail, went wire to wire in his last race and did run better fractions, which also resulted in better pace numbers from beginning to end. I think the 10 horse wins this one. I'm going to do $1 double 10 with 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9.
And I need to make a change because the 3 was scratched. So I'm going to box the 1, 9, 10.
The 1, 9, and 10. All right. So there we go. The 1, 9, and 10 as we make adjustments on the fly. Thank you, Google Sheets, for being live and interactive. We appreciate that. We have 4 minutes to go to race number 3. So that's enough time for you and I, Terry, to wrap up the card today at Parx. This one is going to be the final one, 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. We haven't seen a mile and 70 yards yet today. The profile of a 1 mile, 70-yard winner. Early speed, 29% of the time, they take them from gate to wire to wire, go to photo, however you want to call it. There is a rail bonus for Celtic Treasure. 2 through 7 play fair, and 8 and out to actually get penalized. So that if you're on the outside, Buffalo Girls around the outside does not work. Only one scratch in here. Fast break and cash shouldn't screw up our tickets too much, but does screw up who's going to be on the front.
Yeah, it's really impossible to determine that, really. The 4 shows a little bit of speed, and the 9 as far as the simulated lead here. But anyway, the 3 has a nice overlay. It's supposed to be like 5-2, and he's 6-1 in the morning line. And the 5 has a small overlay. He's supposed to be 5-2 simulated odds, and he's 3-1. All but the 3 and the 7 have good seasons.
Yeah, so they do all score pretty well with the 4 and the 6 horse Hornbeam scoring the best. Although the simulator won't show us who's going to get to the front, we will see it in our pace numbers here. Look at this race, Terry. Nobody has been on the front. So you're right. Anybody could be on the front. They all scratched out at here with the head, any speed. So getting to the lead has been advantageous, at least through the first 2. And it looks like the 8, the 4, the 5, the 3, and the 9. They're all kind of grouped up together there. So maybe the horse with the most late speed. And there's one that stands, a couple that stand out, the 5 and the 6. Olympic Round, Hornbeam, codependent right in that mix too. Total pace, that score, the winner is the 5 horse, Olympic Romp. That one scoring 11 points better than the next closest up, Jock O'Hare. Whenever you get a 10-point advantage, it is a horse that you absolutely 1,000% have to consider. Maybe not winning, but wheeling in your picks. They tend to show very well. Olympic Rock should show well, Terry, well enough that we both think it'll be the winner.
That's right.
All right. So what do you got for terms of your picks?
I like the 5 Olympic Romp. He finished 3rd versus Tupper in his last race. Drops in class today. Has a high percentage winning jockey. Codependent, that's 7 is my second choice. Has a high percentage winning trainer. And he, in the last 14 days, this trainer's won 3 out of 6 starts with his entries. And number 6, Hornbeam. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race, has a high percentage, has a trainer wins 20% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route. Celtic Treasure is my long shot, the 1 horse. He switches to high percentage winning jockey, and the Rail Post is winning at a 19% clip, and he can improve returning to the dirt. No bet for me in this race.
To close it up, in race number 10 for yours truly, Olympic Romp has that really strong late pace edge over the rest of the field. He's going to actually move down in class in the 3rd race after a layoff and a Z pattern. So a whole lot to like with that one. Just real quick on Z patterns, in case you're unfamiliar with that, as I was not too long ago. And Z pattern. So we see here with Frankie Pennington, we look right here on the early pace number. You see the horse ran at 84 early on. Then he dipped here in the middle to 74, right? And then he got his late wind. So a Z pattern, right? Boom. I don't really know if it's a Z or not. I don't know what else you would call it. Maybe a zigzag pattern, which you can abbreviate with a Z. But that's what I call a Z pattern. Maybe other people look at it differently. But those tend to do pretty well. Number 3, Henry III, going to move down in class today. On the off track, 4 times, 2 wins, and a second. No thirds in there. Does have a really good workout in between races. So the horse should continue to be sharp. Codependent, the 7 horse, down in class. Another one that's fared very well in the off track. 17 times, 4 wins, 3 seconds, 4 thirds. So 11 out of 17 in the money when the track is off. And then Hornbeam, the 6 horse, will be coming from off the pace. Does have some really good late pace numbers in here to match. Finally at Parx, in the money 8 times in 10 races. 2 wins, 2 seconds, 4 thirds. So maybe not the one that's going to win. Quintessential Tom horse. But in the money, yes. Trifecta for me, 3, 5, 7 over the 3, 5, 6, 7, 9 over the 3, 5, and 7, which is the last group of picks for me today. I hope I didn't go over $100, Terry, because as we were closing in on the finish line there, not a whole lot of time to add them all up.
Well, that's true. Although you did go over by $2.
Well, you'll forgive me for that.
I do. I forgive you.
Christopher D'Souza, race 10, really likes the 8 horse in here. Win 8-3, exact the box for $5. Paco taking it to the winner's circle in Luna T in race number 3. There you go, Paco on there. Bitcoin, anyone? I haven't done any Bitcoin. It's one of those things, I guess, sour grapes for me, because I wanted to buy it at $100 and I didn't.
Yeah.
And sure, I will take a Bitcoin. Won't we all take a Bitcoin, right? Are you giving them out? You know what? Leave it to Scary Creations to come up with the right answer. I'm like, yeah, no, I was going to buy him. And Scary's like, yeah, hand him over. I agree with your approach, Gary. Hand him over, Ricardo. We'll all take that. Instead of a thumbs up or a like, Terry and I will gladly take a Bitcoin.
That's right.
Even fractional ones, like a half of one will work too. So you can split one between Terry and I. We'd appreciate that. Our full picks for the card today at Parx. Race number 3, the 6 is going to win, says Christopher D'Souza. And they're off in race number 3. So let's see the 6 horse, which is your favorite right now at 4-5. Broadway Charlie Rose has indeed taken the lead. On the inside of that is the 3 horse, which is Running Redbird. And behind that, the 1 horse, Luna T on the rail. Outside Luna T is the 5 horse, Reed's Fangirl. Then the 2 horse, Divinary, and trailing the field, number 4, All Hail Mo. Opening quarter in 22 as the 6 and the 3 have spread themselves from the rest of the pack a little bit. The 1 horse is still within shouting distance, Luna T, as they go through the turn. And then on the outside there, it does look like the 2 horse is trying to make its move on the 5 with the closer. All Hail Mo, way the hell back there. Maybe not going to be your winner at all. The 6 horse is on the lead, although the 3 horse is starting to fade a little bit. You got the 1 horse in there, Luna T, making a charge. Will it be the first one to come off the pace today, Terry, and score the W? Looks like it has a pretty good chance to do it. The 3 horse now weirdly re-rallying. Strange kind of ongoings here today. 3 horses trying to make its way to the front. Will it run down the 6? I don't know. There's enough time and space in there. No, it's going to go 6, 3, 2, and 1. 6, 3, 2, and 1. What a strange race that was.
That was strange, yeah. And I'm okay in my pick 4, but I'm not very good in my pick 5. I lost in my pick 5.
Yeah, because you singled up there, right?
That's right. And I think I had a win in there too, didn't I?
And you had, it looks like you had singled up the 3 in the pick 4 too here, Terry.
I did. Did I really?
That's what it looks like on here. Yeah, you have the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1, 3, 6 over the 3. And
you're 3. Yeah, you're
2,
right.
yes.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, folks. Tax rate from USA to Canada. I don't know. Well, who knows? What they don't know, Ricardo, doesn't hurt them. Although they did hire 86,000 new IRS agents, so I'd imagine that one Bitcoin transfer, considering all the shenanigans that we're reading about in the newspaper, who's that's small potato stuff, right?
Yeah.
Between what I read about an insider, there's this thing called Unusual Whales on Twitter. I don't know if anybody follows that, but if you follow the stock market, Unusual Whales is a pretty good follow on Twitter. And they noted one person in Congress bought some options. He's put $2 million in options. I don't know about you, Terry, but $2 million in options is a lot of money because they can expire worthless. 90% of them expire worthless, right?
Yep.
I don't play the daily double 6-8. And then the 6-6 did win big money. Their joke, hope somebody gets the Philly 5. I hope so too. They can buy a Bitcoin. But in any case, they had mentioned about how this congressperson, they put $2 million in some stock or ETF. No, it was a stock. And then, of course, in the debt ceiling deal, Terry.
Yeah.
There was a company that was a pipeline that nobody expected to got some money or got an approval. I think got an approval in there. And of course, the congressperson owned, that's where they put their $2 million. And in 4 days, turned their $2 million into $12 million.
Wow.
Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think the people's representatives should be able to take advantage of that sort of information and turn $2 million into $12 million in 5 days while the rest of us are in the dark. And they're doing that on our dime.
Yeah.
And I think that stuff, I was going to use the other word, should be completely illegal.
It should be. They've been doing it for years. So, it's terrible.
It is terrible. They should change. But in any case, folks, that's enough of my political rants for the day. I don't feel like our representatives should be able to get rich on insider information that's not available to anybody else. How else do people who make $120,000 a year buy $7 million homes on the shore?
Yeah.
Tough to say. All right, Terry, that wraps it up for this Monday. You and I will be back. Hopefully tomorrow, Parx won't throw a monkey wrench into our picks with about 10 minutes to go to first post. We'll start again at about 10 minutes to post tomorrow, notwithstanding any delays. And then on Wednesday, myself and Charles will return probably for Horseshoe Indianapolis. Thursday will be Belmont. And then again tonight, I will be on with Julie. Make sure you tune in for that as we talk about the Colonial Downs meet coming up starting on July the 13th. Thank you, Buystocks, for joining us. We appreciate your time. Personally, I think you need to take the money out of politics. That way we truly represent the people. I think we just got to go back to localizing everything, Scary. It's not supposed to be top down. It's supposed to be bottom up. It's been turned upside down in the last 50 years or so.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me going. Yeah, I'm sure. For a pick four, you like a pick four today? $50,000 a year, senators, congressmen, no lobbyists, is all that's it. I agree. There shouldn't be a whole lot of you shouldn't go there to get rich. You should go there to represent the people and actually bottoms up. Everything should be local. The federal government should do what it's supposed to do, negotiate interstate disputes, and then protect us from foreign adversaries, both domestic and foreign, and then let us figure out what we want to do at the local level and self-organize into like-minded people from state to state, community. That would be my pitch if I was going to run for president, folks, but I won't. All right, Terry, any final thoughts before we get out of here on your pitch to become president?
Yeah, I hope tomorrow they don't do these scratches so close to the post time so that we're not rushing around and changing everything. Actually changed a lot of my bets, and I actually singled horses. I really didn't intend to single, but I didn't have time to really do much. And then I'm hoping everybody does well. I hope that people have no bad things happen because of the weather. Give your loved ones a kiss and a hug and tell them how you feel about them, because you never know what's going to happen in the next day or two.
I forgot one in here. I remember Christopher D'Souza. Did we bring that one up where he had the his top pick, or was it Scary Creation? Somebody had a top pick today. Finger Lakes, Christopher.
Yeah.
Best bet of the day, race number 6, the number 2 horse, Ira Empress, New York. I bet him last time out, runs well. So keep an eye on that horse at Finger Lakes. Thank you, Janet, for joining us today. We appreciate good rant. Thank you. Maybe I will run for president one day. Good luck to everybody. Indeed. Of course, we hope that everybody gets God's grace, God's favor. And no matter what you do until we get together tonight at 8:00 or tomorrow, Terry and I, as we hopefully get started with Parx on time. But we hope that your picks are on time today and they end up in
the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Thanks again for joining us. Have a fantastic Muddy Money Monday.